Hi, I'm Belinda Fenty.
And I'm Pauline Nakiria.
Welcome to Let's React podcast, the show where we dive into the world of entertainment.
Yeah, we'll share our experiences, the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
Join us every week as we bring you stories, industry insights, and captivating conversations.
Let's React podcast, where the spotlight shines on our stories and the magic of Black British talent.
Hello and welcome back for episode 4.
Yes.
We are very excited to have you with us. So, for our last couple of episodes, we've spoken about some of the challenges that we have faced within the industry. And we want to soften it today and talk about things that can help. Our topic of the day is self-care.
Yeah. So we're going to be looking into maintaining mental health and exploring the ways or what in our experiences of it. I have definitely gone through a bit, especially as an actor. Even as a normal person.
Yes.
I actually loved looking into this whole mental health thing. And it is something, especially within the non-white communities, it's not something they like to talk about. And a lot of people won't really openly talk about it. But we're going to try and keep it light. And we'll obviously be serious in many parts or some parts.
Yeah, because I think mental health is such an important area, not just in general life, but particularly for actors, and not only non-white actors, but just the creative industries. They require so much of you.
Yes.
They require for you to time and time again, open up your heart, be raw, be vulnerable, and going to millions of auditions, facing constant rejections, being in something where you are so heavily scrutinized that you can easily take things personally.
Yes. It can be draining and going through those blocks or those moments that you just don't know what to do. You don't know how to experience it. So no, it's definitely something that it's so important to talk about.
So important.
In terms of like being Black actors, I would say in a system that is kind of not built for us, it just makes it double the challenge in a way when you think of what we see on TV. Like, do you remember the Sainsbury's advert, I think 2 years ago, of the Black family? And there was a lot of people on social media saying how they don't relate to those characters.
Yeah, I remember something like that for John Lewis as well.
Yes.
The Christmas advert.
Yeah.
Which I actually auditioned for. I was cancelled.
So you could have been one of those people were complaining about and couldn't relate to.
Yeah. It was the one with the dog jumping on the trampoline.
Yes,
Don't know if you remember that one.
And the other one for Sainsbury's was when they were sitting around a table, like a big family gathering. It was mental to think how people, were saying they were not relating to this
Absolutely.
And yet they can relate to aliens.
Yeah, I know. And it's like we laugh, but what people don't realize is that just us absorbing the public reaction to adverts.
Yes.
It's trauma. It hurts us to have that, because what I hear when I hear this is you're not human, or you're not welcome here, or I can't relate to you. Yes,
exactly. And imagine also the cast that were in that. Imagine how they felt. They were so proud of something. It was just an everyday thing, like that's what people do. That's how people live. And then having to get that backlash, shall we say, of complaints, of people complaining they don't relate to the characters, they don't see themselves. Okay. And it was mad. It was mad. So just thinking of, things like that, where the representation that is shown. So what is it that these people felt that they didn't see?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I meant, like the system, the way it's set up, even like when you see shows that come on, like for example, I know we talked about Black Panther when that came out as well, and how people don't see Black people like that. No, they can't be in such powerful positions. They can't have so much wealth.
This is why I'm glad so much is now being made that turns that narrative. Shonda Rhimes, come on, like, let's talk Bridgerton.
Shout out. Hey.
Woo, hey. There's a new series that I hear is amazing called Riches. Have you seen it?
Yes, I actually auditioned for that.
Oh, nice.
So I'm hoping for the next one. But yeah, Riches, such a great show. I loved it. I think it feels like, you know how the TV show Empire is in America?
Yeah.
I feel like Riches could be that for the UK.
Yeah, so the more these shows are made and people see them and they get engaged in them, the less foolish comments will arise, because I think, oh yeah, all right.
But yeah, that's it. It's just having that representation, seeing ourselves the way we know ourselves to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's nice to see that now, to see those shows coming out, even like a cultural aspect of it as well, because we're all from different parts of the world. We've got different cultures and different understandings. One thing that always bothers me is when, for example, from Africa, when people have an African accent.
Yeah. When it's like a generic, it's not area specific on this entire continent.
Yeah, so I know I'm kind of digressing.
No, it's relevant.
But, you know, culturally, like how people think, how even just the idea that, oh, you can do an African accent. Yeah, Africa is a continent. It's like, you know, like the UK, like how you have London or Cockney or
totally,
you know, Birmingham,
well, interesting
Wales.
That you should say that, because I auditioned for a TV show this week and they wanted, they said, a West Indian accent. And likewise, I was thinking, oh, you know, okay, which island? They're just so different. And, you know, you have your French Caribbean as well. And you're like, and I sent the lines to a friend who is Trini and she's in Trinidad, and she was like, you know, there are just like, this is my type of Trini, even within Trinidad. And I was like, yeah, Nick, I know. It's like me having an English accent, you know?
So exactly, and that's just the thing. It's like when they do say that, sometimes you're like, do you even know what you're looking for? And the reason I brought that up, obviously, as Black actors, when we go for roles like that, we're kind of like in this box. I'm sure it's the same for people from Asia because you look a certain way that, oh yeah, you're Black, so I'm sure you can do a Caribbean accent, right? Okay, cool. Right. Okay. You're doing it. And you can have the worst accent and they'll be like, oh, this is great. This is amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. The job that we met on, I remember leaving the audition and thinking my accent was proper sketchy. I'm never going to get this. But yeah, I wish there were more accent coaches as well on the jobs, on all jobs, or just in general, because I sometimes look for courses and I never find them. You have to go directly to the tutor and they cost so much.
Yes. And they do a lot of RP or general American.
Yeah.
You never really get African accents or Caribbean.
Yeah.
You know, you just get the main ones.
Yes.
But because now we're starting to see a lot more roles like from different cultures. I think we're starting to see a lot more people doing this, like Gukiran, she's a voice coach. I've talked about her before. She's doing that now, like, you know, for those from South Asian countries.
Yeah. She's doing group ones now, yeah?
I don't know if she does group ones, but I know she's worked with, you know, some projects and some theatres.
That's good.
To support them on that, which is nice to see. But also, like, in terms of the culture, when you think of music, poetry and sports, you know, and we know how we talked about Black people getting into productions, into film and making it was through comedy.
Yeah.
And being that relief, right? It's especially horror. And then you have like the Wyan brothers, that massive family where they did different shows and then succeeding and having comedy shows like My Wife and Kids.
Yeah.
There's a few comedians up and coming in the UK. But I remember once, is it Stephen Amos, the comedian? I don't know if you know him.
Stephen K. Amos.
Yeah, Stephen K. Amos.
Yeah.
In his stand-up, he was talking about how all the Black comedians were waiting for Sir Lenny Henry to kind of die before they could make it. And I remember, like, when you're hearing the audience laughing, and he just went, "I'm serious, by the way." I remember thinking, he's right, you know, because shout out to Sir Lenny Henry and his production company, Douglas Road, opening up opportunities for a lot of people and comedians like Gina Yashere. But just thinking of them trying to make that breakthrough as comedians and then not having that kind of opportunity to do so and making the opportunities for themselves. I mean, like Gina Yashere went to America.
Idris.
Yes.
I know it's not comedy, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but black artists going to America because there's not that much opportunities over here.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for the little roles that are out there in the UK, because that time when Samuel L. Jackson, for example, raised that how black British actors should start taking Hollywood roles.
I remember that.
Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya.
Was it in Queen and Slim? It's not Slim?
Yeah, Queen and Slim. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Queenie, yeah. Queenie and Slim, right? No, Queen.
No, Queen and Slim.
Yeah,
you said it right the first time, babes. Don't make me question. Make you doubt yourself. But then the actor Clark Peters, he was in The Five Bloods, a Spike Lee film, the last one that Chadwick Boseman did. He was in The Wire as well. And he was doing a show here in the UK a couple of years ago.
Yeah, okay.
And he was talking about that the UK needs to create more roles for black actors, tell more stories from these communities because the UK is losing their good actors to America because of this. And that's why they're moving to America because there's no roles here in the UK. And that says a lot.
America is so ahead of us.
Yeah.
And has been for a long while in this respect.
Yes, exactly. Thinking about how David Oyelowo, after he finished Spooks and his character was killed off, there was not much roles for him. And I remember he also talked about when he was at the RSC and there was another big actor who said that it shouldn't be like they shouldn't cast a black person in that role. Was it Richard the Third? Or was it Hamlet? Something like that.
Oh, wow.
And he'd done such a great job on Spooks. So, of course, what did he do? He packed up, moved to Hollywood because that's where they were happy to take on a black actor. And, you know, a lot of people will know him as Martin Luther King in Selma. So, you know, he just, he left. Like you said, Idris as well left. Yeah. He went to America, The Wire.
I was open to it too. I went out there in 2016 to kind of scope out the industry, meet agents and...
Oh, yeah, the pilot season.
I went, I think it was close. I think it was just finishing or just afterwards.
Okay.
And I was looking at what I would need to do to potentially move there. And what was amazing was everyone I met, like all of the agents and casting directors, they were very enthusiastic and very open. And they were like, yeah, you know, once you get your 01 visa, give it. So 01 visa for aliens of extraordinary ability. So I know it's
the OM1 visa.
Yeah, exactly. Which they were very useful back then, but actually very soon afterwards with Trump, there was just a big crackdown and few people I knew were able to get them. Like I had a friend who had lots of credits already, more than me, and lots of stuff in papers. And he gathered all his stuff, went for the interview, didn't get it. So then we just thought, oh, right, wow, they're really...
If he doesn't get it,
what chance do we have? And also now they prefer green cards, a lot of the studios. So times have changed a bit, but I was looking into moving out there for the exact same reason that you're talking about.
Yeah. And just imagine like big stars now, like I think David Harewood, he's openly talked about his mental health, about how he almost gave up acting.
Oh yeah, he's written a book.
Yeah, it was a few years after he'd lost a close friend of his who had encouraged him. Just imagining how losing that support, that having that someone who bigs you up no matter what.
Yeah.
And then, because he said he got the script for Homeland and he just was like, oh, okay. And he did it in an English accent as well. He didn't even try.
Yeah.
He's like, it was lackluster and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just mad that, you know, at that point in his life where he just he'd given up and almost giving up. Like, to a certain degree, I'm sure he cared, but when you're at a certain point when you're mentally drained and you just, nothing's coming your way, nothing's going your way, and then you just feel like, okay, fine, bye.
Yeah.
You know?
Is there someone in your life who keeps you on track or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, a part of it was myself, because a few years ago, when I had my daughter and I didn't know exactly how to be an actor with a child.
Yeah.
I have a great support network, and there's my partner, my family, who are able to, you know, I would call up one of my friends and just say, oh, can you just come with me to this casting and look after my daughter while I'm going in for the audition? And but sometimes I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford to have that.
Yeah.
One time I just took her to a casting. It was for a commercial, and I remember saying to my agent, can you just let them know I've got my child? I don't have a sitter or anyone to look after them. And the casting director was like, yes, fine, just bring them. And I remember bringing her in, and I'm like, is it okay if I just leave her here while I just run in? And they were like, yeah, of course. And there was all these other actors as well, like, yeah, we'll watch her. And it was really nice. Like, I took her to like 5 or 6 castings, and people were always happy to watch her.
That's beautiful.
And I mean, to be fair, she was also still little, and she was fairly quiet.
Yeah.
But I just imagine, like, sometimes you feel like as an actor, you don't want to take a job. You don't want to go to a casting because, oh, I don't have childcare.
Totally. I can imagine.
And obviously a different level, but like mentally, I think that was when I went through that thing of wanting to give up. I think I went through that even before, but that was the hardest moment for me because it was like a breaking point type thing.
Definitely. It's just so hard.
Yeah.
I was lucky that there were some supportive people.
Yeah. And the other thing is, though, that I felt has kind of affected saying I have a child or that I'm a parent, is that a lot of the time you're just submitted for those set roles, like the mum roles. And I feel like if you say you're a parent, people just suddenly assume, oh, they don't have time to do that.
I can imagine. You've had that flip. But the funny thing with me was... before my current agent, who I've had for ages now, for like since just before the pandemic, that was happening to me. I'm not a mum, and I was getting just pretty much exclusively these mum roles. I'd turn up, my husband would look like my dad, and my child would look like my boyfriend. So I had that conversation with my agent at the time, and I was like, you know, why am I not going for young professional, like, which is my cast? Why am I just only going for... And also, like, why am I going for tired mums? Like, I don't look remotely tired. You seen me, fam? I look like a warrior.
Just fresh out of the gym. Yo.
Yeah.
I'm awake.
Yeah. Do I look like a tired mum? No. Yeah. So I changed. That's part of the reason why I changed agent. Yeah. My agent didn't see me and was not putting me for roles that are me. So I had to bounce. I did bring it up, but yeah.
I remember casting I went to as a parent, and it was for a commercial. And so I had my daughter and my husband, like you said. Okay, we're not saying they are 50-year-old men, but we're just saying they look way older than us.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you're doing your ident, they asked me, can you tell us your name and your age and your age? My age? Yeah, your age. Okay. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. No. It was the panic.
Yeah, because it would be illegal. But like, they have to ask the kids their age for legal reasons, but like under 18.
The topic of, like, you know, agents and stuff like that. One thing I have noticed, and one thing I did notice, because I also worked in an agency as an assistant, then a junior agent, and I never really saw that many Black agents. You know, kind of like how we now have, you know, quite a few Black casting directors.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's nice to have that because now we have people who see us and who get it when I walk in with my hair different way and my hair.
No explanation needed. Yeah,
exactly. I remember, you know, with the agency, the actors, they did like a get together. So they used to do it as a way for the other agents to meet the actors. And so it was like an actors social with the agents. And so I remember when I went to this social event, and a lot of the non-white actors, especially the black actors, when they realized that there's a black person working at the agency, suddenly like the vibes was different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like having that someone, you know, when you sign to an agent, and, you know, shout out to the, you know, our agents representing us honestly, but when you, you know, sign up to an agent, and when they ask what kind of roles are you looking into, what kind of roles do you want, and which is something they ask everybody, but obviously for us, where our roles are limited in this industry, when that question is always asked to me, I always have this thing where I want to do everything, like, and I don't mean that in this, because people are like, oh, you want to do everything. That's the thing. I'm always put in a bracket. I just feel like I'm put in a bracket. I want to be open to be put up for everything.
Yes, I get you.
Especially if the, you know, sex, age, all that stuff, I want to be put up for that. It doesn't matter what it is. I just want to be put up for stuff.
Yeah. I have quite a few friends, non-white, who are so annoyed with the being stereotyped within roles that they've had conversations with their agents. Like a friend, for example, who's Egyptian, who's like, no more terrorists. No, I refuse. Another friend who's like, no more refugees. I'm from Camden, fam. And you're like, and I get you, you know, I think for many people, they're just sick of certain stereotype roles. And so they're like, no, none of these, we're rejecting these because we don't want to perpetuate this idea of us as one thing. We want to expand so that people see our humanity, like what we were saying in the beginning, see us as human. Yeah. That they can relate to us. They're not just like, can't relate to them. They look like terrorists. Oh, are you in a gang?
Have you got drugs? Have you got drugs by any chance?
Actually, that winds me up. I've been
asked that. My God. And, you know, and then, you know, when we were talking about hair last week, when you wash your hair and then you don't blow dry or straighten it. Oh my God, did you cut your hair? Oh my God. Like, so what's going to happen? And then you braid it. Oh my God, it's cool. How did you? And you're like,
talking about that. Sorry, we can't proceed with this episode without referencing the fact that I no longer have an undercut. And it hurts, Pauline.
They pull. No, but I know it's gonna be like you've lost your finger or something.
It is. I genuinely, there is, I mean, I joke about it, but there genuinely is a pang of like, grief, loss. Like, it was my friend. I loved it so much. I would sometimes stroke it and go, hey, what would you do? Undercut? And it would always encourage me to take the bolder choice. So now I'm going to have to find some sort of substitute.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I was with my afro.
Yeah.
When I decided to lock my hair, but I was like, it's time, afro, it's time. Yeah. I shall see you someday, but not today. I know the feeling. I definitely get it.
So I had to audition to be a queen today. And it was easier to look kind of stereotypically regal with it all sort of up and back. But so it will change my casting a bit.
I think so.
Like, I'd say I look glamorous, but which is fine. I'm okay with glamorous, but you know, I'm like, where's the edge?
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be
good.
You're
gonna miss R.I.P. Let's have a moment of silence for the undercut. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, undercut. So what I might do is make it really like blonde locks at some point.
Okay. Have you practiced your looks for your headshots?
No, I've just run out of time because I am doing a short play, which I only found out about a few days ago. And we have to be off book. Yeah, that's
Shout out, Belinda.
Yeah. So I really recommend actors get on the kind of banks of theatres because they often invite writers and get them to do a response to the main show in the house. Yeah. And then they put a play on. Obviously, I know you know this, Pauline, but I'm just sort of explaining for our lovely listeners.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a really exciting, funny, deep play in 3 days' time. With lots of lines.
The lines, I must learn these lines. I have only 2 days. Oh my God. And I've got my headshots. I don't have time to plan my headshot looks.
Exactly. I need to pick out my outfits as well.
It'll be fine. Trust me.
And I'm going to be minimal makeup, mostly because my skin colour's changed since spending 4 days in the field in the sun, and nothing really matches. So, I mean, I don't tend to wear much makeup. You shouldn't anyway, really. But hopefully it'll be the right amount.
When we go back to the mental health bit, obviously thinking about you losing your undercut, how is that just changing the roles that you're going to be getting? I think it will.
I think it will too.
Yeah. And like thinking about, you know, how you had to do this queen look, do and all that stuff, you know, whatever the role is, whatever the genre is, whether it's commercials, plays and things like that. When you then put yourself in that position of then thinking about representation and how that affects you, obviously, I'm talking about your undercut right now, by the way.
Yeah. Good. Let's bring it back to my undercut.
How is that affecting you, like in terms of now, like when you're doing this different role? Because the role that you got, obviously, when they cast you, was it with the headshots?
Yeah. So I'm not sure which headshot my agent submitted because I still have ones on my spotlight that don't have the undercut. But yeah, I'd say in terms of it affecting me, it does make me a little bit anxious about losing the juicy roles that I like, the ones with the edge, right? But I'm just going to have to keep an eye on the castings and go from there. Because there's always something you can do to flip it up. Like, as I said, if I did have some like brighter blondie
Colours.
Things that could, so maybe in a few months' time, I'd get another single quick headshot just to put up there to show like, look, like I'm not only polished.
Yeah. And are you mentally prepared for any upcoming castings? It's Friday today, by the way, guys. So tomorrow, Saturday, she's having the headshots done. Have you prepared a speech mentally going, so the reason why I don't have my undercut?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I might need to bring like a little support teddy bear with me or something just to kind of get me through those.
Get one of the troll dolls.
Yes. Or a t-shirt that says, don't talk to me about my undercut, just so that no one brings up this sore area, you know? You touched on something earlier on with regards to mental health. Oh, yeah, it was about cultures and how different cultures have different ways of storytelling and like poetry, dance, music. And it reminded me of talking about healing strategies or mental health strategies, like the power of healing of music and dance.
Yes.
Because hopefully I'm not getting this wrong. Forgive me if I am, but I believe it was after the genocide in Rwanda that a team of, like, I don't know if it was the UN or the World Health Organization, but anyway, they sent a team of psychologists, psychotherapists all out there, like, oh, there's a lot of PTSD. We need to go there and get people to talk about their trauma. Yeah. And so they did this, but people were like, the talking wasn't doing anything. So they kicked them out. And instead, they sort of began to sing and dance and express and connect. And it was through the dance and the song that they healed because, you know, that was their way. And there is a lot of healing. And I've noticed it myself in the past where I've been humming or singing and I feel like any emotional pain that I've had, I've been holding, I feel like it's dispersed a bit or I feel lighter or freer afterwards.
Okay.
And I think that's not often spoken about here in the UK anyway, about the power of things that are not your typical therapies psychotherapies that they talk about here. The power of the other things to heal us. And things like mindfulness.
Yeah.
And movement, dancing, running, being physical.
Yeah.
And how that's, and
also the different outlets, because actually when you say that, also like when we talked about when actors have a certain role and they have to then let go of that character, like just thinking of, you know, like David Oyelowo in Selma, you know, we talked about Daniel Day-Lewis letting go of those characters, like how that impacts effects on your mental health, and then finding a way to deal with that, to let go of characters.
Yeah.
And as much as, you know, a lot of people just think it's something that you can just get up and do, but there's parts where the characters, you delve deeper, especially when it's based on a real life character. And also, like, you know, like when Whoopi Goldberg was in The Color Purple. Ooh. Many years ago, and what that felt for her, for that character, because the storyline, I don't know if you've heard of The Color Purple, with Whoopi Goldberg going through that, having that story, because even, like I said, you know, it doesn't have to be based on a real life character, but it can also be the story of that character. It can be draining on an actor.
Definitely.
And like when you hear of even a lot of method actors, like, you know, Joaquin
Phoenix, yeah. Legend.
Yeah, definitely. It
and
is.
If you're on stage and every night after night you're maybe having a miscarriage, you're watching your husband die, or you know, all these stories that we tell, it can't help but seep into you a bit.
Exactly.
So I think each actor finds their way to make that manageable or to recover from it. I find that if I allow the feelings that are present within me to exist and to expand, then they're able to move on. Or if I need to give myself a moment, or kind of maybe what you were mentioning before, like if things like dance, music, spending time with nice people afterwards.
Yeah.
Supportive people.
Doing something that is not what you normally do. Like I play video games.
Oh, nice.
And that's what I do. I know it might be weird, but I do have a ceremony where you let go, and thank that character, you know, for taking the time. Kind of like a way I let go.
Is that at the end of the run or film, or is that like every day after you've played the character?
Usually at the end, I just say goodbye. I've been gone for so long.
I love it.
I close my script. I keep my script though. I don't burn it. No, I don't do that because it's now a part of me, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, I just end up throwing myself in a completely different genre.
When do you do that? Because like often, you know, final night of the show, spirits are high and like everyone's just got this energy and like, ooh, elated.
A lot of the time it's usually the next day I then just let go because I wake up and realize I'm not going to do that character again. So like, you know, part of your meditation, I would encourage a lot of people to do that, meditate. Even if it's 5 minutes, it makes a whole lot of difference. You might not feel it the first couple of times you do it, but if you just start doing that whenever, it doesn't matter when you do it. Even meditating can just be as much as just thinking about what you're doing for the day when you wake up. So that's when I then go, okay, the character's done. Woo, that was a journey. Yeah. And then, you know, reflect on that. And because I also love to reflect on how I would do the role different. But I think it's because when I was starting out and I used to do a lot of auditions, I'd get home and then realize, oh, I could have done that. Oh, damn it, I could have done this. I could have done that for that. Oh, that shit. Oh, why didn't I not do this for this character? Why did I not pick that up? Why did I not just say that, you know? And then I realized that whenever I finish, even an audition, actually, sometimes I will do that. But I just found it helped me to then just reflect on that and stop hating myself for not doing what I think I should have done.
Yeah. I think it's so important to be kind to yourself because we're so vulnerable because as actors, we're very open anyway and we kind of allow our emotions to course through us and we are coming under some attacks. It's easy to say, be kind to yourself, but I think one practical way to do it is, we did this in class once. We brought with us a picture of 5-year-old ourselves.
Oh, amazing.
And then it was like, talk to yourself the way you would talk to because that 5-year-old is still in you. You know, because children are not going to grow. It's like watering a flower, right? They're not going to grow under criticism and like the way we sometimes talk to ourselves. They're going to grow with kind words and understanding and softness. So, so that's something that I have adopted and I try to,
That's a good tip. No, definitely. But yeah, honestly, it is important to talk about mental health as actors as well, and thinking about our experiences, our history, what we've been through, where we are, and our communities that we're in, getting that sense of community as well, and don't pull each other down.
Yeah.
Like, I've made friends going to castings. I could easily go, God, start cussing out that person. But at the same time, like, you know what? If you get it, I'm good with that. And I'm, making friends with those people and just being like, oh, hey, just talking to each other, supporting each other, and being able to then go to these castings and be like, yo, agent. A friend of mine, we always go to the same castings for the same roles, but she just said this.
Yeah.
And that's what I started doing.
That's a really good point that you raised there. I'm the same as you in that respect. You cannot see other actors as your competition.
Yeah.
What a nasty way to live that would be. Like, you have to see them as in, like, if they get it, they're doing something for me too. Especially if they're another Black woman and they're getting the role, then that's a positive thing. In fact, I often share roles that I'm putting myself forward for. A bit of me thinks that if a role isn't for me, it's not for me. Like, if it's for them, it's for them.
Of course.
If it's for you, it's for you. So then I just share. I'm just like, hey, a sisterhood.
Because I think Naomi Harris once said that when she auditions and when she doesn't book the job, she always said she just would say to herself, you know what? That wasn't meant for me. The next one's meant for me. Rejection is hard, especially in this industry. Like, we get rejected a million times, but it's learning how you deal with that rejection, because they say, what is it? 98% of actors who actually go to drama school end up quitting.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah. I think you can't take rejection personally. You just can't. Oftentimes I'll look at the role and there are a multitude of reasons why you haven't been cast. You and I have taken part in casting as well. That was an invaluable experience because I saw that sometimes you'll watch 2 seconds of a video and it's not their acting. No. It's like something energetic and how they look and like how they talk, how they move. Yeah.
Their vibes and essence.
And knowing that makes me feel like there's no way I can take a rejection personally. There's too much that is not in my control.
Definitely. And that's why whenever you get a self-tape or an audition, honestly, take it. Like 5,000 people being submitted for this one role. Just imagine this casting director going through all of these submissions, and then filtering through them and then calling you in, take each role, support each other. We want to talk about mental health and our well-being as actors, basically. That's the main thing, well-being as actors, as artists. And we'll probably come back to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no time to go into some other areas like imposter syndrome.
Oh,
like what it feels like to film for a role and then be cut out of the film. And like there's just so many different areas.
And we'll definitely come back to it. Yeah.
Perhaps with a guest.
Yeah. We want to just, soften you up a bit.
Yeah, we want you to know us before you meet our guests, okay?
Exactly, yeah.
Love us first, and then...
You must love us
You
first.
must.
Yeah. If you don't, meditate on that. Belinda, this has been great, honestly. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.